As much as I love the bubblegum teen pop revival of the late 90s and early 2000s, a lot of it definitely hasn't aged gracefully. For every timeless hit like Baby One More Time or Genie in the Bottle, you have some clunkers that either suffer from extremely dated lyrics, production, or concepts. For this video, I want to look at some of the most glaring examples of this, and revisit some tracks that would never be made today. The first is probably the most obvious one to big pop fans, but I have to include it since it's pretty much a given. Britney Spears' 1999 debut album, Baby One More Time, is a landmark in music history, which makes it all the more hilarious that its 10th track is called Email My Heart. The song is a heartfelt ballad about Britney missing her man and wanting to get back together. It would be pretty standard stuff if it wasn't for the chorus. Email my heart and say our love will never die. I know you're out there and I know that you still care. Email me back and say our love will stay alive. Forever, email my heart. Modern day Shakespeare, honestly. I think what brings this track over the top is Britney's sheer conviction. She is devastated over this man, and she just wants to log into AOL and see his name. Haven't we all been there? The song is dated for obvious reasons, but even for 1999 audiences, I think this was probably a bit much. I mean, I was literally just a year old, so I wouldn't remember, but I'd imagine people listening to this back then must have thought it was corny as hell to ask someone to email your heart. I get that email was still relatively new, so maybe she was more forward-thinking than we give her credit for, but even still, I feel like the idea of emailing someone love letters became dated as soon as smartphones arrived. I'm sure it still happens, but when's the last time you've heard of someone emailing a love letter? I feel like if you're really into someone nowadays, you would just text them. I mean, how down bad would you have to be for someone to be telling them you love them over Gmail? Now, despite all of this, I actually think Email My Heart is unironically a pretty good track. In my opinion, it gets a lot of flack for its title alone, and yeah, it is so cheesy that it almost sounds like a parody of bubblegum pop, but ignoring the admittedly hammy chorus, I think the rest of it actually is pretty solid. It's exactly what a great pop ballad should be. It's sentimental, catchy, melodramatic as hell, and Britney is really giving it her all, regardless of the goofy concept. If you could look past the title, Email My Heart is worth a listen. Don't move it to your trash, it's really not that bad. Sticking with the online theme, www.fantasy is not a website, it's a song from the short-lived girl group Innocence, which Britney was actually almost a part of at one point before Baby One More Time. Yeah, she really missed a big opportunity there. Innocence had one album called So Together, released in 2000. It's alright, there's some good stuff on it, especially the beginning track, Ride, but the 8th track, www.fantasy, is a journey. It's just about as ridiculous as you would think, with some surprisingly horny lyrics, including but not limited to, real love doesn't satisfy, I need something that'll rock my mind, it's a global electro high, my website is so sweet, how you make my hard drive spin, your fiber optics are so strong, and my personal favorite, it's a cyberspace web dream. They knew exactly what they were doing with that wordplay, y'all are not that innocent. Beyond the lyrics, the production is also very much of its time, clearly taking cues from Dark Child hits, like Say My Name or If You Have My Love, just with some added techie sound effects. It's a severely unserious song. I feel like if someone made a parody of early 2000s teen pop, they would come up with something like this. Honestly, I wish goofy tracks like this would come back. Something about seeing a literal website as the title of a song is just so cool to me. I don't know why, maybe it's just the novelty. Oh, and by the way, www.fantasy doesn't actually exist. I tried looking it up, and as of now, no one owns that domain. So hey, if Innocence ever gets back together, maybe they could buy it. Next up, I simply can't have a video about early 2000s music without mentioning my girl Willa Ford. For those who don't know, Willa was supposed to be like the edgier, more mature version of teen pop idols like Britney or Christina Aguilera. I have a video going more in depth into her career, but as of now, let's just focus on the masterpiece that is Prince Charming, the 8th track on her tragically only album to date. The song sees Willa dreaming about her perfect fairy tale man, and basically listing all the things she's looking for in a guy. It's not only the bubbly production and cutesy concept that firmly plants the song in the early 2000s, but the bridge where she calls out Prince William, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Cisco just completely dates it. I mean, not that any of those guys can't still get it, but still, I don't think anyone in 2024 would be shouting out Cisco as their dream dude in their music. No offense to Cisco. Again, it's just her conviction that brings the song over the top. You could tell she's really enjoying the silliness of it, and she gives a fittingly melodramatic performance. Prince Charming is a hilariously campy track that I give major props to for just fully committing to the bit. It's ridiculous, but in the best possible way. And speaking of, Mandy Moore probably has the most dated early discography of her contemporaries. Since she was a bit younger than Britney, Christina, and Jessica Simpson, her music was extremely juvenile and just shamelessly leaned into the bubblegum pop trend as hard as it could. This is why I personally love her early music and why Mandy absolutely hates it. While pretty much any track from her first few albums could be on this list, I think track 12, Split Chick, from her self-titled album, is the pinnacle of early 2000s pop. The song sees Mandy telling a guy she can't be with him since she's busy getting her bag, essentially. It is absolutely adorable to hear this literal teenager telling off a guy so gleefully because she's a boss bitch. The lyrics give me really strong early 2000s Nickelodeon movie vibes. I can run as fast as the boys, I could sing and dance ballet, I could show you all of my toys, though I'd rather be alone today. Like, tell me you can't hear that being in a movie commercial in between SpongeBob reruns. Again, it sounds like a parody of bubblegum pop, for how insanely hammy it is. I also think the little ad-libs she does at the end, where it sounds like she's talking through the telephone, is so of this era. There's nothing that yells Y2K more than phone calls and songs. Almost all the girls had tracks with them. Split Chick honestly sounds like the type of song an artist like Liz or even Charlie XCX would make nowadays if they wanted to have an early 2000s throwback track. It's so unabashedly girly and syrupy sweet that it feels like a reject from a Barbie movie, so obviously it's one of my personal favorites by her. Honestly, her whole self-titled album is extremely underrated and filled with fun tracks like this, so even though she'd probably disagree with me, I would say check it out if you want a slice of candy-coated Y2K pop. That's it for this video, but let me know some other tracks that stand out to you for how aggressively early 2000s they sound in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.